Hi, this video is for Competency 3 for the public speaking competencies that will be used when grading the final speech for COM 111. So Competency 1 was covered in a video. Competency 2 was covered within the PowerPoint. If you haven't had a chance yet, please make sure that you read through the information provided on Competency 2. That is the introduction of your speech, and there's a ton of important information in the PowerPoint that I encourage you to read through. When you are looking at Competency 3, that's looking at the supporting material within your speech. So the first thing that I'm looking for is if you have good information. So I'm looking to see that you have done research on your topic. I'm looking for about 3 resources that you are using, outside resources, for your speech. Have you found enough information to fill the time allotted, and have you organized it in a coherent way? The next thing is if you have used the main points that you introduced in the introduction of your speech and that you are giving us information about that within the body of the speech. Those points should be clear in your introduction, and they should be clear again in the body of the speech. Keep in mind that one way that you can help us is by using words that cue the listener. So words like first, next, finally will help the listener go through that with you and keep your material organized. The other thing that I'm going to be looking for is if you have given equal-ish information for each of your topics. So for example, each topic might be about a minute long. What I don't want to see is your first topic is 2 minutes and your second and third topic are there sort of as an afterthought with 10 or 20 seconds each. So each of your topics should be about equal. The next area that I'm looking at is your evidence. So have you done your research? Do you have about 3 outside resources that you're using? Are they relevant to your speech? Do they make sense that those are the sources that you would use and the information links to the topic you have picked? You do need to be using outside information that is reliable. So those sources are going to look different for each person's topic. There is such a wide variety of topics that students choose that it is not realistic for me to say you can never use a website, you can never use a personal blog, because sometimes those make sense depending on which topic that you are choosing. It also doesn't make sense for me to say you have to use a scholarly article, because for some topics that just doesn't work very well. So depending on the topic that you choose, the sources are going to be different, and a reliable source could look different for each student. If you are unsure if the source that you have found is reliable, please make sure that you contact me and I can help you navigate that. Some things to keep in mind. I often do say personal blogs are not the best choice because unless the person is a professional in their field, you have no idea if the information they have provided is accurate or not. The same thing goes with Wikipedia because that information can be changed. It's hard to be sure if the information is true and accurate, but it is a good place to start. So on Wikipedia, if you find the topic of your choice and then scroll to the bottom, oftentimes there's a list of resources there that can help you get started on your own research. So I would never say don't ever use Wikipedia. It's probably not what you want to cite within your speech. The other part of the evidence is smoothly introducing the evidence within your speech. So usually this will look like something along the lines of, according to John Smith, and then you would give a quote or a summary of the quote that you, or the information that you found. What I don't want is for you to read a citation as it would be written in a paper. So parentheses, Smith, comma, John, page 35, whatever it might be. So you will do a verbal citation, and then you will also include a reference page with your speech when you submit it to me. There will be examples of how to do this in the speeches that I provide in next week's folder. The last thing that is graded within Competency 3 is the visual aid. It is required that you have a visual aid for your final speech. So this can be a variety of different things. I encourage you to be as creative as you want and can be for your visual aid. PowerPoints are fine. Lots of students use PowerPoints, but there are many other options for this as well. I've seen students use artwork. I've seen them use props, meaning, for example, if a student were to do a speech on skiing, they have skis, boots, poles, different gear that you will need for skiing in Alaska. So try to be creative, see what you can come up with for that visual aid, but you do need something that you will show us during the speech. Be sure to read through the rest of the PowerPoint. There is another video coming up that will help you with understanding the competencies. Thanks.